You see it everywhere now, right? AI writing poetry, drafting your emails, even churning out computer code. It uses language in a way that feels, well, it feels almost creative. But is it? Today, we're going to tackle this very modern question using a very, very ancient lens to ask what AI can really understand about language and what it might never, ever be able to touch. So let's just start with the obvious. These large language models can produce text that is stunningly coherent, beautiful, and sometimes, genuinely moving. It's an incredible piece of technology, no doubt about it. But it also forces us to ask a much, much deeper question about the nature of creation itself. I mean, just look at this. The silent moon inscribes its silver script upon the sleeping sea, a poem only the tides can read. An AI wrote that. It's evocative, it's packed with metaphor, it absolutely looks like poetry. It has all the right shapes and sounds of a creative act. And that right there is the heart of the matter for us today. Is generating text like this a true act of creation? Is it bringing something fundamentally new into being? Or is it something else entirely? A kind of sophisticated mimicry, maybe? A reflection without a real source? To even begin to answer that, we need to take a step back. A big step. We're going to turn to the 13th century Sufi master, Ibn Arabi. Now, I know that might sound a little strange, but trust me, his metaphysical framework for language and existence gives us this incredibly powerful toolkit for analyzing the limits of AI today. See, for Ibn Arabi, the entire universe isn't just a random collection of stuff. It's a text. It's a form of divine speech. And getting our heads around this is the absolute key to seeing the massive difference between how he saw language and how a machine processes it. It all kicks off right here with this single divine command, kun. In English, be. Now, this isn't just a word in a sentence, it is the creative act. It's the one primordial sound that sparks all of reality, pulling the entire cosmos from nothingness into being. But okay, how is that command actually carried out? Well, it happens through what's called the Nafas al-Raḥmān, which translates to the breath of the All-Merciful. Think of it this way, just like our own breath is the medium that carries the words we speak, this divine breath is the actual substance, the metaphysical medium, that carries the command, be, and articulates the whole universe into existence. And what does that breath articulate? It articulates the ḥurūf, or the letters. Now hold on, we are not talking about A, B, and C here. In this worldview, the ḥurūf are the fundamental archetypal principles of reality itself. They're like the metaphysical building blocks that structure absolutely everything in existence, from a galaxy all the way down to a single atom. This leads to a truly profound conclusion, which Ibn Arabi puts perfectly. Existent beings are the words, kalimāt, of God, which do not cease. Just let that sink in. Every single thing in creation, a star, a tree, you, me, is considered a divine word, a living expression of God that is continuously being spoken into existence. So the grand vision here is this. The entire universe is kitāb Allāh. It's God's book. And it's not a static object, not a book sitting on a shelf. It's a dynamic, non-stop process of divine self-disclosure, or tajalli. Reality is a text that's perpetually being written, revealing its author in every single moment. Okay. Let's hold that huge, beautiful vision of reality in our minds for a second. Now, let's place it right next to how an artificial intelligence processes language. And the contrast, as you're about to see, is about as stark as it gets. Let's just break this down. On one side, you have this divine language, which is rooted in al-Haq, the ultimate reality, being itself. It's a nonstop act of creation where words are actual beings. Its whole purpose is to get at the haqiqa, the inner truth of things. Then you have AI. It's based entirely on statistical patterns it finds in data that humans made. It's just a game of probability, predicting the next token in a sequence. It can only ever process the zahir, the outer shell of language. And this, really, is the core distinction. AI is working with the exhaust fumes, the traces left behind by human language. It scrapes our books, our websites, our social media posts. But it has zero access to the metaphysical root of language, that creative breath which, in Ibn Arabi's view, is what brings reality itself into being. So this leads us to the really critical part of the question. If AI's language is just a surface-level copy, what happens when we start flooding our world with it? could this constant imitation actually pose some kind of spiritual risk? Remember, as we've seen, Ibn Arabi's cosmos is one of continuous divine ījād. That's the fancy term for existentiation. It just means God's unending act of bringing every single word, every single created thing into being moment after moment. It's this perpetual creative outpouring. And then, what does AI offer us? Well, it offers a world of continuous, overwhelming textual generation. A never-ending fire hose of sentences, paragraphs, and poems, all spat out by an algorithm. The parallel in the sheer volume and continuity is pretty striking, isn't it? So we're forced to ask, is AI's endless stream of text just a distorted, cheapened echo of that divine creative act? By mass-producing a simulation of creation that is totally cut off from any real source of being, are we risking the devaluation of what true creation, what the sacred power of the word actually means? So let's bring all of this home and draw some final, sharp distinctions. At the end of the day, the difference between the language of being and the language of AI is really the difference between an original voice and its echo. When you look at it through this metaphysical lens, the inherent limits of AI just snap into focus. It follows patterns. It doesn't originate from a source of being. Divine language is, AI language just simulates. And this is huge. AI spits out what's probable, not what comes from a direct tasting or dalk of truth. In the Sufi path, real knowledge comes from kashf, a direct unveiling of reality, which is the polar opposite of crunchy numbers in an algorithm. And maybe this is the absolute best way to say it. AI can become a perfect mirror. It can learn to reflect human language, our styles, our biases, with flawless, scary precision. But it can never, ever be the actual face that is the source of that reflection. It's always the image, never the reality. And that leaves us with a final, pretty unsettling question to chew on. As our world fills up with these perfect reflections, these artificial words that copy the form of creation but have none of its substance, are we training ourselves to listen only to the echo? Are we maybe becoming deaf to the real words, the divine expressions that make up the very fabric of existence all around us? The answer to that might just define our future, not just with technology, but with reality itself.